One of the 2008 Republican hopefuls is Fred Thompson, who has a connection to Watergate. He was the investigative counsel for the Senate Watergate Committee. Did you have contact with him at that time?
I did, and I have in the years since. So there was Joe Baker did a piece for the New York Times a couple of weeks ago. It was a good piece, sort of a broad profile of who Senator Thompson was when serving there. And one of the things she got into was something that occurred during my testimony when he was cross-examining me. He prefaced his examination by saying, "Well, Mr. Dean, I hope you'll understand this isn't personal. If I'm going to come down and ask you some tough questions." And I said, "Well, Mr. Thompson, not at all. If I was still in the White House as White House counsel, I would be supplying you the questions you need to question the person who's sitting in the seat I'm sitting in." And Thompson leaned back and said, No, I don't need any kind of help like that." And of course, Joe Baker's article is a big explanation of how he had been fed everything he'd had from the White House. And so I was under oath. I couldn't make a statement like that, but Fred could.
So he was in effect representing Nixon.
He was, definitely, and he wasn't about to confess it to me as the witness he was going to examine.
Although I gather that there's a Nixon tape out there that expresses concern that Thompson was not, quote, very smart, but he was, quote, friendly.
Right. That was when he was first hired. I was still in the White House when all that happened. And Nixon, who never held back on his assessment of people.
Hillary Clinton was also on the Senate Watergate Committee staff at the time.
No, she was on the House Inquiry.
House Inquiry staff.
Yes.
Did she make any kind of impression on you at the time?
I didn't have any contact with her. I did see her work product, which I found very impressive. She was one of those who got involved in tracking the history of impeachment, looking back to its very, very early roots in English common law, and she was one of those who produced a volume that's still important today that lays this all out.